François Boucher was a French painter, draftsman, and decorative artist whose works epitomized the Rococo style of the 18th century. His career was marked by an extraordinary output of paintings, drawings, and designs for tapestries, porcelain, and stage sets, all of which were characterized by playful sensuality, elaborate ornamentation, and a light pastel color palette. Boucher's ability to merge beauty, elegance, and fantasy with technical skill earned him fame and patronage, most notably from King Louis XV and Madame de Pompadour, the king's influential mistress. Boucher was born in Paris on September 29, 1703, into a family of modest means. His father, Nicolas Boucher, was a master of the Guild of Designers and Embroiderers, and Francois likely received his earliest training in art at home. At the age of 17, he entered the workshop of the prominent French painter François Lemoyne, where he absorbed the classical principles of French painting. However, Boucher's tenure with Lemoyne was short-lived. He soon found a more fitting artistic home, working for the engraver Jean-François Cars, where he developed a skill in translating paintings into prints, a useful talent that would later help disseminate his work to a broader audience. In 1723, Boucher's talent earned him the prestigious Prix de Rome, a scholarship that allowed him to study in Italy. However, due to financial constraints, his trip was delayed, and it wasn't until 1727 that he departed for Rome. His years in Italy proved to be formative. Boucher absorbed the influences of the Baroque style, particularly the work of Pietro da Cortona and the grandeur of Italian Renaissance art. Yet, instead of imitating the heroic and dramatic grandeur of these works, Boucher infused his painting with a lighter, more decorative aesthetic. His experience in Italy helped refine his skills in composition, anatomy, and color, which would later become the hallmarks of his mature style. Upon returning to Paris in 1731, Boucher quickly established himself as a leading figure in the French art scene. His official debut at the Académie Royale de Peinture et de Sculpture occurred in 1734, when he was received as a full academician with a painting titled Rinaldo and Armida, based on the epic poem Jerusalem Delivered by Torquato Tasso. The painting, characterized by its dramatic composition, soft color palette, and graceful figures, was emblematic of Boucher's early style, which married the grandeur of the Baroque with the delicacy and charm of the Rococo. Boucher's art was in high demand among the French aristocracy, and his connection with Madame de Pompadour, Louis XV's official mistress, catapulted his career to new heights. Pompadour was a great admirer of Boucher's work and became his most important patron. Through her influence, Boucher received numerous commissions for portraits, mythological scenes, and allegorical works that decorated the royal residences, including Versailles. Pompadour's patronage helped secure Boucher's position as the premier artist of the French court, and she even used his designs for her own decorative arts projects, such as porcelain and tapestry commissions from the Gobelins and Beauvais manufactories. Boucher's style is quintessential Rococo, a movement characterized by its lightness, elegance, and emphasis on decorative qualities. He often painted mythological subjects, pastoral scenes, and eroticized depictions of the female form, which catered to the tastes of the aristocratic elite. His works are known for their soft pastel colors, fluid brushstrokes, and intricate compositions. Boucher's figures often possess an idealized beauty, and his landscapes, though inspired by nature, are imbued with an air of fantasy. His mythological works, such as The Triumph of Venus, 1740, and The Toilet of Venus, 1751, depict gods and goddesses in idyllic settings, engaged in playful or intimate moments. These works were celebrated for their sensuality and technical brilliance, though they were also criticized by some for their perceived lack of seriousness. Boucher was less interested in the moralizing content of traditional history painting and more focused on creating visually pleasing compositions. Boucher's pastorals, or pastoral scenes, also exemplify his Rococo sensibility. These paintings, such as The Shepherdess, 1743, portray idealized visions of rural life, populated by elegantly dressed peasants in picturesque settings. These scenes were far removed from the realities of peasant life, but provided a form of escapism for the aristocracy, who enjoyed the fantasy of a simpler, more innocent world. Though Boucher enjoyed immense success during his lifetime, his work was not without its detractors. Critics like Denis Diderot, a prominent Enlightenment philosopher, criticized Boucher's art for being frivolous and devoid of moral or intellectual depth. Diderot found Boucher's eroticism and decorative style superficial, and he lamented the lack of gravity in French art during this period. Despite such critiques, Boucher remained the dominant figure in French painting until his death. In 1765, Boucher was appointed as the director of the Académie and the premier painter to the king, solidifying his position as one of the most influential artists in France. However, by the late 1760s, the Rococo style had begun to fall out of favor, replaced by the more austere neoclassicism. Artists like Jacques-Louis David would soon dominate the French art scene, ushering in a new era that rejected the playful frivolity of the Rococo. Boucher died on May 30, 1770, leaving behind an enormous body of work that included thousands of paintings, drawings, and designs. Although his reputation suffered in the years following his death, his art has since been reassessed, and he is now recognized as one of the most important painters of the 18th century. His work continues to be celebrated for its technical skill, elegance, and ability to capture the spirit of an era defined by beauty, pleasure, and indulgence. François Boucher remains an iconic figure of the Rococo movement, embodying the grace, charm, and lightheartedness that defined 18th century French art. His ability to merge the decorative with the sensual and his keen understanding of his patron's desires ensured his place as one of the most celebrated artists of his time.